This is Chad from Six Blog. I'm Stick, and today I just kind of want to do real quick a post-hike gear review. Me and a couple of buddies just headed out to North Georgia. We did about the first 30 miles of the Appalachian Trail. We did it 3.5 days. We kind of took our time, did shelter to shelter. But even though we did shelter to shelter, we still set up our tents each night and slept in our tents. But anyway, for this hike, I had a lot of new gear that I took with me. I've been working on my gear for quite a while, and I've really managed to get my gear weight down, and in my opinion, still have all the luxuries that I feel like I want to have, not just need to have, but all the luxuries that I want to have with me while I'm on the trail. The temperatures that we experienced, I'm going to say we're between about 15 degrees and as high as maybe 45 degrees. We had wind, we had a little bit of sleet, a little bit of snow, nothing that actually stuck or made much of a difference. There was some ice on the trail at times, but nothing that really warranted things such as micro spikes, even though I did carry them. But anyway, altogether the trip was really good. It was really fun. We had a great time. And like I say, I got to use quite a lot of new gear while I was on this trail. So real quick, what I want to do is I want to go through my gear list that I have and kind of just talk about a few of the items that are new, as well as some that I've had for a while, and kind of talk about how they work maybe with other items or just my thoughts on them so far. So real quick, my gear weight, or my pack weight when I hiked out, was approximately 17.2 pounds. That included all of my fuel, that included my water, and that included my food, as well as all my other typical base pack weight items. At one point in time, I carried as much as about 3.5 liters of water with me. Whenever we left the shelter on the third morning, on the third morning, it was our hike that day. We had 12 miles to cover that day, and I really didn't feel like having to stop and gather more water, so I just went ahead, and before I left that morning, I filled up my Gatorade bottle, and I filled up my platypus, which is a 2-liter platypus, but actually if you look at it, it holds more than 2 liters, so about 3.5 liters. However, that was my third day, so a good deal of my food was missing. So I'm going to figure I probably never carried more than 18 pounds for sure, but I'll say as much as 18 pounds considering all the water that I carried that one day. So real quick, what I want to do is just go through my list like I said, and starting off with my backpack. I don't have it here in front of me, but my backpack, the Blast 30, it rode awesome. I didn't have any pain in my shoulders. I mean, there was no pain at all. The thing fit me like a glove, it felt like. It probably had something to do with the small amount of weight that was in it. But really, my backpack, I'm super impressed with it. There was enough room for me to actually change my style of packing, and I made a video on getting ready, packing for a hike. You can see how exactly I packed my pack or unpacked it. But one thing I mainly did that was different was I packed my tent inside the backpack rather than outside the backpack. And that allowed me to be able to keep all the items that I for sure needed outside the backpack in the front pocket, and it didn't actually equal out to a whole lot of weight because the items I carried were just lightweight. But anyway, altogether I'm really happy with the way the backpack performed. I didn't have any worries about it getting damaged in any way, being the Cuben fiber. I will say that I had most of the people that I met and saw my backpack or my tent actually thought I had made it, and I regretfully informed them that I did not make it, but I did pass the word that it came from Joe Velasco at Z-Packs, and I told everybody to check them out. A few people had heard of them, a few people hadn't. But I also met 1 or 2 people that kind of maybe a little skeptical about Cuben fiber in itself, telling me to make sure I kept pack covers on it because basically the material itself will start to delaminate and all this other stuff. I can't really speak for it that much because I haven't had it that long, so I really have to go on other people's testimonies. And of course, considering that I've spent money on the pack, that I have money invested in it, of course I'm naturally probably going to defend it somewhat, but in my honest opinion at this point, I don't feel like there's any concern about it as long as I treat it the way it should be treated. And in my opinion, any piece of backpacking gear that you buy is going to have to be treated a certain way, so I don't really consider it special needs or anything like that. It just has different needs. So in my opinion, and with the use that I plan on using it for and the conditions that I plan on using it in, I have no worries about the actual pack or my tent or any other piece of Cuban gear that I have delaminating or coming apart. It may happen, it may not. I don't know, but I don't have any worries about it. Saying all that, moving on. Like I said, my pack. Another thing that I decided to do is I decided to use my pack liner as well as a pack cover. And some people question me about that. Why do you need a pack cover whenever you just have a few things outside your pack and also you have a pack liner inside your pack? Me personally, I'm doing everything I can to keep what I got inside my pack dry, and that's really what it comes down to. My pack cover weighs 1.2 ounces, my pack liner weighs 1.9 ounces. So altogether that's 3.1 ounces for the liner and the pack cover. A lot of times if you buy the Sea to Summit or a Seal Nylon pack cover or something, you're going to have at least 3 ounces in just one of those items. So here I have the same weight in both items. And Cuben fiber is just a very waterproof material, so I'm happy carrying the tad bit of extra weight. It's a comfort measure for me, and it's one that I don't see that I'm going to be changing anytime soon. I really like the way that I could pack everything inside my pack, roll that pack liner down, seal it up, and then I put my tent on the inside of the pack on top of that, so I can still open up my pack, grab my tent out, and everything's still going to be inside my pack liner, and it's going to remain dry until that I choose to take it out. As well, if it starts to rain or sleet or anything like that, I can throw my pack off real quick, grab my rain jacket or whatever, throw it on, and while I'm at it, take the pack cover, put it over the pack, and that's going to provide a little bit of extra waterproofness. One other thing too, I did notice in the rain that we experienced whenever we were leaving, whenever I unpacked everything when I got home, I noticed that my sleeping pad, the closed-cell foam sleeping pad that I use as the frame sheet, there was a couple of little water spots on it, so obviously water will come through where the shoulder straps and the hip belt straps are attached to the pack. So yet again, that's just another reason I use all the waterproof stuff. But anyway, great pack, I love it, and I plan on getting a lot of use out of it. Okay, now that I've spent half the video talking about my beliefs and my stance on Cuben fiber, I'm going to go ahead and move on. The next thing I want to talk about is my tent. Now, I recently got the Z-Pax Hexamid Solo Plus tent from Joe, and this is it in the stuff sack. I will say that it comes in a rather large stuff sack. This is a medium-sized stuff sack, and this is what Joe ships it in. Now, I tend to fold. I've come to fold my tents. Not saying it's better than stuffing, it's just my choice again. And this is the size of the tent with the ground sheet and the extra beak. Everything is right here. Just for a size comparison, that's a 1 liter Nalgene bottle. Also, this is an 8x10 Seal Nylon tarp that I got from OES, and it has snake skins and all the extra goodies inside it. It's about the same size. And this is my Lunar Duo, 6 Moon Designs Lunar Duo. So that's some size comparisons. A few things about the tent. I was a bit skeptical, even after buying it, I was a bit skeptical about how much debris that this mesh floor would pick up. I didn't use it in any mud or rain or anything like that. It was fairly dry, or it was on leaves or whatever whenever I was there. And in my findings, I didn't have any trouble with the floor picking up any kind of mud or debris or anything like that. The last night I did pitch it on top of some pine needles and a bunch of rocks, and when I packed it up, when I got it home and undid it, there was probably about 3 or 4 pine needles stuck just in it randomly. Other than that, I have no issues with it so far. As far as the tent itself, either it handles condensation really well, or we just didn't have any issues with condensation because I didn't have a bit of moisture inside the tent. I also want to say that I I had some question about even having the mesh floor in it, and I was thinking about cutting the mesh floor out possibly and just using the ground sheet. I don't know, right now I think I'm going to leave the mesh floor in there and see how it does. The ground sheet that I got is the light version of the ground sheet. And one thing that Cuben fiber may not be is very abrasion resistant. So considering that I'm going to be using the Cuben fiber ground sheet, I'm probably going to leave the mesh in there just to help maybe alleviate some of the abrasion that may occur to the ground sheet. I'll just have to see how it goes, and I don't know, only time and use will tell, so I'm hoping to get a lot of that and I'll be able to tell soon. But for right now, I'm very happy with the mesh floor and using the Cuben fiber ground sheet on top of it. So altogether, I really like this tent so far. It's very spacious. Everything I need, I mean, I love it. Setup, takedown, everything is pretty dang easy. Even though it takes 10 stakes to fully, completely set it up, it's not hard at all. And another thing that I really like about it is I don't have to go and retension all the guy lines and everything after I pitch it and it's been up for about 30 minutes. Because, you know, like steel nylon will sag a little bit. I didn't have to do that with this. I did have some wind on our third night that I pitched it. Can't tell you speeds or anything like that. I did notice that the wind was blowing the sides in just a little bit, and I could have pitched, or when I got out the guy lines, could have got them out a little bit with a little more tension on them. I'm not sure, since the tin is still new. I'm still when I guy it out, I just pull it snug and guy it out and leave it at that. So I don't know exactly what this can handle and can't handle so far. I'll just have to see in time. But so far, I'm really happy with it and looking forward to getting a lot of use out of it. Very happy with it, no regrets.